Hi Wildcats, this is Mrs. Forrest and I want to review with you the expectations for your book project. Under Math this week, you will be able to open a PDF of the expectations for your book project. Basically, you need to have a cover that is colorful and has fractions represented on it. You need to have a table of contents that lists all the pages that you make. And the most important part will be the pages. You have to have a page of halves, thirds, fourths, then pick fifths, sixths, or a different fraction. You get to choose on that next one. And the last page will be a page of wholes. I made some examples of the pages and table of contents and the cover for you. We have at least 4 sections on each page. This is the page with half. The first section has a number line, a picture, a word, and fraction represented. I started with a unit fraction, which always has a 1 on top, so 1/2. The next section shows 2 halves represented all 3 ways that are designated. There is a picture, a number line, and the words. I also included an equivalent fraction. There is one, or an equivalent number. 2 halves is the same as 1. Then the next section is 3 halves, and I represented it with a picture. I made a half and a half. That did equal a whole, but I had to have 3 halves represented. So after I made the whole, I had to make another whole and just color half of it. So 3 1/2 I found was equivalent to 1 1/2. So I wrote the equivalents up here. I also did a number line and the words. Then I did 4 halves. I found out it's equal to 2, and I did a number line and words. So you need to do that for the halves page, the thirds page, the fourths page, and then the page you choose for fractions. You do not have to use markers. One thing I used was a computer. So when I wanted to show you a different medium or a different way to show me that you know all these different fractions. So on the fourths page, I decided to put my heading in the middle again, divide it into 4 sections, start with a unit fraction, 1/4, and then represent it each way that has been indicated. So I have 1/4 as a fraction, 1/4 as a picture, 1/4 on a number line, and 1/4 as a word. Then I did the same thing with 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. So you can do it on the computer, you can do it with markers, you can do it with crayons. You could paint it if you have paints at home and you'd like that more. I want to show you how I made the wholes page. It might help you to see an example. So I put my heading for the wholes page at the top. I chose 5. You can choose any whole number. Just remember, you have to do that many pictures as well. So don't go too high. I wrote the whole number 5. Then I wrote the word. And then I wrote the fraction. 5/1 is the same as 5 wholes. 1 as a denominator means whole, the whole object. 5 wholes. That's the same as 5. So if they say, is there another way to represent this fraction, 5/1? Yes, it's just 5 wholes. Then I did the same thing with 3. 3/1 is 3 wholes. 7/1 is 7 wholes. So here I wrote my whole number. I wrote the word, a fraction, 5/1. I did a number line. I stopped at 5 wholes. And I drew 5 whole squares. Use this page as a model when you make your wholes page. Choose numbers, but know that any number over 1 is just the whole number that is represented on your numerator. Now I would like to show you my cover just as a model. You can make yours your own way. Read the criteria I met it all. It has 4 fractions represented. I use multiple colors in my title, and I wrote who it's written by and who illustrated each page. This here is an example of my table of contents, and it just shows you the page numbers that you'll find each fraction on. Some of you will want to go above and beyond. You always work for the EE or exceeding expectations, and you show so much more. So if you want to do that, I have a page that models for you one way that you could do it. I thought, well, if you have to have at least 4 sections, 8 sections and counting higher would be exceeding expectations. So on this page of halves, I showed how I went above and beyond. Up here I started with unit fraction, and I have represented the picture, the word, and a number line after the fraction. So that section has everything in it. It goes 1 half. I did it for 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves, but I also did it for 5 halves, 6 halves, 7 halves, and 8 halves. So if you would like to go above and beyond, and I know some students who would like to, you can have more sections per page and show what you know that way. When you're all finished, have your mom or dad, or if you have a cell phone, take a picture of your project, lay all your pages out, take a picture, and send it to me at sforrest@cvsd.org. Have fun making your fractions book, everyone.